Welcome, folks. We're here today with Sal Dovi. Sal is the facility director, I believe, in Boys and Girls Club of Union, and he is a wonderful person. We've worked together for over 30 years now. It seems like just a little while ago, we were sitting down at the pool and working on, the first time that we met and how we would work together. And it's gone by so quickly, Sal. You've not only been an excellent partner to me and our company, but a great role model. And I wanted to share this with the public, the things that you do there and the kindness that you show. And one of the things that I wanted to get into is, as we go through this, is to understand how you've built such an incredible staff and retained them. Because that's what they say, the biggest resources today is humans, right? Human resources. And that's really what you guys have at that next layer. And the people you have employed there and the way you treat them, I think, is why they stay. But we'll get on to that. Welcome again. How did you get started with the Boys and Girls Clubs?
Well, it's an interesting history. Because I got started here when I moved from Brooklyn, but it was fate, because when I came to this country in 1960, my uncle enrolled me at the Boys Club of New York. It was a great experience for me because it exposed me to so many different activities, sports, and social interaction. Also at that time, the Lower East Side of New York was a tough neighborhood, and the club was a haven for me.
Right.
So it was interesting how it came around, 40 years later.
So, right, you could give back, right? Wow. Yep. Where did you originally come from?
Well, I'm Italian, or I was born in Italy. And then from Italy, I went to Argentina.
Wow. And so what part of Italy are you originally from?
Sicily.
Okay. I was a military brat, so I lived my first three years of life in Naples. So,
Naples, right?
Yeah. Yeah. We're closer than we thought there.
Yeah. See, we have a lot of things in common.
That's right. Yeah. And then you went down to
Argentina. Argentina, yeah. I lived in Cordoba for 5 years, and then came here to the United States. And of course, this is the greatest country ever, because I owe it to this country, to what I have, what I've built, and not only career-wise and my personal education, my personal family, of course. If you want to consider financial support as well. Right. So very grateful for this country.
Well, and you're doing such a contribution back,
Yep.
I think whatever you got from it, you've certainly given more. So what does it mean to you to be one of the guiding members now of the Boys and Girls Clubs?
Well, I think being a guiding member, it gives me a great opportunity to lead and mold staff and youth members with a sense of confidence and knowledge that anything is possible. So it's that comes from me coming to this country as an immigrant and building myself up I was the first graduating class in high school as well as college. My entire family, which I have a large family, I don't have no siblings, but my extended family.
Right.
And that anything is possible. And this is where when you're looking at how I lead this organization, is a chief operating officer in supervising pretty much all of the staff that we have and facilities that we have, and of course the youth. It gives me great comfort and to extend that self-confidence and knowledge that really anything is possible if you put your mind to it.
Well, I say
There's no excuse for not being successful in this country.
As a leader of my company myself, I have to say that your guidance and I think a lot of the way you treat and build your staff, you can see a lot of it's coming from the internal work that you've done with kids to start with, and there's a real focus on the energy that people have there, the way you guide them. It's amazing to me to see that goes right through. And I guess they say, from leadership, it goes, and it penetrates everybody in that facility, whether you are originally part of the growing up there, or like us, where we came in and started to work with you and you just feel it. So it's really fantastic the way you do that. So how would you say the Boys and Girls Club differ from, like, for instance, I grew up in the YMCA, and there's a lot of different places and they each have their own benefits. But how does the Girls and Boys Clubs differ from other activity-oriented organizations out there?
Well, that's the other thing we have in common, me and John. I worked for the YMCA before I came here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. The YMCA of Greater New York. I worked for almost 20 years.
So you've got a great view into that.
Right. And and there's a little bit of a different philosophy. I think the major difference with other organizations here in Union County is that we have a strong youth development strategy with our kids. It really encompasses everything that we do in every program, and that is it gives our youth a sense of competence, a sense of belonging, a sense of power and influence, and a sense of usefulness, so that when the kids come here, as soon as they come through the door, our front desk staff who knows these kids by names and by their actions or their behavior, it transcends from the front desk all the way to the back of the building, up on the second floor, wherever they go, whether it be a swimming program, whether it be basketball program, whether it be a games room, activity area, the teen center that we have for the teens. This youth development strategy is inculcated into whatever we do.
You guys seem to be so connected with the kids, and then I see you've got these role models like Denzel Washington and things like that. Everybody, and he's seems to be just a wonderful person. And you have all those. You have the kids that are succeeding in all the different programs. You get their pictures up, and you're showing the kids the way and kind of the pathway to go down. It's great.
Yes, and Denzel Washington, of course, is our national spokesman. We have many actors and politicians who are alumni of the Boys and Girls Club. But here locally, our staff is the bond that makes these kids come here often. Ron is our Pied Piper here.
Okay.
He's our associate club director, and with Ron, they call him grandfather, they call him uncle, they call him father. The kids come here and just treasure the relationship that they have. So I believe the staff that work in our organization have a strong passion to work with kids. They do establish such a strong relationship and respect, and that it really develops a bond.
Right. And you're right. It comes right in when you walk in that door. and you meet the
Right.
folks at the desk,
Yeah,
right?
even the front desk staff.
Starts right there.
We have Patricia over here at the front desk that knows every single name of these kids.
Right. And you
So
hear them
it
calling
means a
out,
lot.
your ride is here, right? Jimmy, your ride is here. It's
So
just,
you've heard that. So
oh
you've heard
yeah, I
that.
just love that.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
almost like a continuation of it's not a school, but it is a school. It teaches you about
Mhm.
how the relationships the kids get. There's, hey, teaching respect there. Things, it's all there.
Right.
It's
And now
wonderful.
our staff, on average, is about 20 years that have been here.
Right.
Uh, some of our staff have been developed since they were teenage members who participated in leadership clubs. Some of our staff started as volunteers. Matter of fact, Ron started here as a volunteer and became a professional staff. Um, some have come from other countries like Yefum, like Lucero, in the
Right.
aquatics program, where they've come from other countries. And really, we gave them the first job in this country. And sometimes with very little English. We give them a chance to have a job, and we develop them to be professionals in our organization. And of course, a lot of it has to do with recruitment. We just don't select anybody.
Right. But
So
it's not almost, it almost seems like it's not just finding the right person, it's building the right person there, the way you go
exactly.
to it. It's really fantastic. And you've worked hand in hand with Russ Triolo since I've been there and probably before, right? And you guys have done a fantastic job together.
Right. Yeah.
You seem to be a
Of
great
course,
team.
he started way before me.
Okay.
I've been here 30. Oh, wait a minute, 39 years. Jeez. Time flies.
Goes by, doesn't it?
Time flies. My God.
Right. Amazing.
Yeah.
So it seems like there's so much interaction, and I mean, I know that you've included me in some of the ceremonies that you've had with the staff and things like that, and it was just an honor and a thrill to be part of that. My dad actually came to one of them as well. He works with our company, and we just were kind of floored by it. Yefum.
I remember when your father and you were involved with one of our campaigns.
That's right. Yep. And Yefum has invited us a few times with the swim team, and it's amazing the work that you guys are doing. And I mean, some of the athletes are going to all over the world from that facility, right? They're going everywhere. You guys are doing amazing. So
thank you.
Let me ask you, you do more than, just some of the things that we've talked to so far. This facility, if I'm right, supports many other facilities in the area. Is that correct?
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. Well, as a community organization, we feel that we have an obligation to serve the areas that we're in. Even though we primarily operate the same programs such as after-school programs, leadership programs, public speaking programs, and so on, we also differ, like the Union Club has a full facility with a pool, 2 gyms, many other program areas. Elizabeth and Plainfield facilities are limited, but their concentration in gang prevention activities, dealing with youth at risk, and other special initiatives.
So you guys are right at the roots of the community in gang prevention and things like this, right? To dealing with the kids that could go one way or the other, and bringing them along to be productive members of society and contributing it. And then those kids are coming back a lot of times and contributing back to that same organization that helped them, which is one of the things that you're doing here, right?
Right. Well, one of the greatest pride that we have is when, and I'm sure Ron could tell you, our front desk could tell you, the pleasure of having kids come back 5 years, 10 years, 15 years after they leave us, and they always come back to say hello, to check us out, and to have a conversation as to where they're at, what they've done, and so on. But especially with
the best
Ron,
thank you could ever
especially
get.
with Ron, and you know, in the Union Club,
Right.
you know, we have the other staff at the Plainfield and Elizabeth Club that are tremendous, and they come back to see our professional staff.
Wow. Yeah, and so it's I'd say when you come back like that, it's whether they say it or not, which I'm sure they do. The thank you is
Yep,
the coming back.
exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Wow. They still want to be part of that. That's really wonderful.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
You're building
Yep.
such a great part of the community. And so it's almost like you get to the kids, hopefully, right, before they get down the wrong pathway and guide them in, right? Keep bringing more kids in to help them go forward.
Well, that's the key. You know, that's the key. It's our staff that we build, that we have built to make sure that they do have a relationship with every kid that comes into the building. Because when the kids come through the building, we don't ask them if you're good or bad, and we nurture them. We establish relationships with them on a daily basis. So that's the richness of our organization.
And you've got a few older kids too. You have a right, and we say the kids, but then we look at the bingo program that you have there, and so you go all through in some ways the life cycle. You make right, and it's amazing because if you look at what that bingo program does for the community. If my grandparents were in this area, I would want to have them over there because they see everybody, right? And it's also, if I'm right, that contributes back to right the right the financials as well to the community. Is that right?
Yes, our bingo operation over the years has been the major funding source for these clubs, especially Plainfield and Elizabeth, in these different communities. These clubs would not be able to be serviced without the bingo funding. Absolutely.
Right.
And, the bingo operation, of course, is very unique to the Boys and Girls Club in theory, because it's an adult program. It's a gambling program. But for our particular model, the bingo program has it's a business entity that supports financial support. For instance, Plainfield and Elizabeth, they don't have any membership fee, right. So it's a unique model for us to have the support of the bingo in order to make things happen at the other clubs.
Right. And then when you go there, you see there's this big group of people that are playing the game and having a great time, and they're bingo, I got it, and that's very exciting for them. At the same time, they're contributing back and they're having fun with each other, and it seems like a lot of relationships. That's kind of the place to go for those people. I'm going to guess they look forward all the time to that night where they can come in, right? And then if you go in the front, you could see them still hanging out together, right? It's a hangout in a way for the adults, right? They're and if you look at the normal day, they'd be watching TV, things like this. But when it comes to their life, that's a big piece of their life coming back to.
Well, this is a second home for them, because 65% of the attendees come every bingo, which we have 10 bingos a week. Every day of the week.
Yep.
Some days we have 2 bingos per day. So
and it's not so much about the gambling; it's about seeing the other people and again.
There's definitely a social interaction, social connection.
And I see mothers with daughters there right? That
Mm-hmm.
and you know, I remember this one lady. I used to talk to her every time I left, and she was, I'm going to guess in her 90s, and her daughter I think was in her 70s, and there's such a cute pair there, and they're always there. They're always sitting next to each other. It's just a great thing, community.
Right.
Yep.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. We've had bingo players who have been 97, 98 years old.
Wow, it's just
Yeah.
amazing.
And they come to the club by bus.
I can tell you
By
this:
bus.
when that lady wasn't there anymore, I
Mm-hmm.
remember the first time, and I walked out. I had tears in my eyes. She was
Yeah.
such a nice lady. I'll never forget. But how does now that we're looking at that, how does Fluid Mechanics, our company, fit in with the Boys and Girls Club? Why did you want us there?
Well, first of all, is our relationship um, it's been long and steady partnership.
Right.
Even though we're two business entities, I think we've been together for what, 25, 30 years,
Yeah, I
somewhere
think
there.
at least 30 now. That's right.
Yeah. So we have similar philosophies where we want to develop strong bodies, strong skills, and strong minds on the youth that we serve. Yours is very, very specific. Ours are in general,
Mm-hmm.
although they're in swimming. Of course, there's very specific skills. But to be honest with you, John, and I hope you don't mind me saying, is that you make it happen. You and my relationship with you is been the key of having this kind of a strong partnership um, for all these years. For all these years. So thank you.
Well, I got to tell you something. Thank you. That's sincere, as you know, and it's
Mm-hmm.
just been a wonderful time. What I find with your facility is it's got so much to offer to everybody. I want to be part of it. And we just feel fortunate. I know that, like, if we close up the club and anything's wrong, I'm calling you. I feel terrible calling you at night. You're always there.
Yeah.
No problem. And and it's just very welcoming, and that makes all the difference to us. And we want to be there. We love being there with the staff and interacting with you guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what's been your experience on how we work together with your facility? I know other facilities we'll be working with would be interested in after 30 years. What is it that we do that you feel brings value to your organization?
John, I hope you don't mind me saying it again. It's you.
Thank you.
The values that you have, the values that you promote within your staff, and the dedication that that you bring to the cause. It's part of what the values that you bring to life.
Yeah. I really appreciate it. We have, as you know, a family-owned business, and it's funny. The people that work with us are kind of like extended family. We all are very close and close-knit, and we try to do a great job. And we appreciate your kindness and letting us be there with you. So, so you've always had this, or you've always seemed to have a great energy at work. And this is 30 years, and I can see the smile right there. There's been a smile on your face since I've known you. and you come to work every day. There's this warm smile and a guiding hand to anyone that comes through the building and needs it, whether it's a parent, whether it's a coach, whether it's a participant, a kid, anyone. As a lesson to all of us, what's your secret? How do you do this every day like this?
Thanks for recognizing that, John.
And it's not like there's not challenges, right? There's so many.
Oh, no. I mean, there's plenty of challenges. I think it is my nature to be positive and to have a social connection with anyone I meet. I also believe in paying it forward. If I can make someone happy or help someone without expecting anything in return, I believe that individual will play it forward as well. So it starts with a smile, it starts with a laugh, it starts with, having some kind of communication, positive communication with people that makes me feel good, and hopefully will make other people feel good as well. In, 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 in anyone that I meet. So my secret, being positive.
I think we've done in our MindWorks program a section on what's called sharing energy, and where people share emotional energy. And I think I told you earlier when we are coming in here that my dad has met you a couple times, maybe a little bit more than a couple times, but we unfortunately just lost my mom, and I was talking to him earlier that I was going to do the interview with you. And he says, "Oh, I remember Sal. You get that warm smile and that way about him." I said, "Yep." And so that's the energy that people feel even years after meeting you. They still feel that, and that's the impact that you have, right? So when they hear your name, they got that connection, and so I think the value that you leave with someone is and like you said, the values is even so much better than the business term value, right? It's the values that you leave with them, and it's just amazing. So let me just ask you one question here. I'd love to talk to you all day, but I know you're busy, but I have this one question: is after all you have not only do but have done for the community, how can the community members support your efforts? What can they do to if they want to contribute back?
Yeah, I had to do some thinking with this here, and I think the community can best support our efforts by the old adage of talent, time, and treasure. We always look to have youth and adults to volunteer, to share their particular skills, to share hobbies or talents. We would like to have people in the community spend time with us, and they can bring their value to our kids and to the organization. And that's the human aspects of how they can help. Lastly, of course, like any organization, especially nonprofit organization, treasure is something we never have enough, and that is financial contributions from the community. And that is from individuals, businesses, corporations, foundations, government, et cetera, et cetera. So I would say time, talent, and treasure is a mixture of things that the community can help us. And we recognize that some communities have different dynamics, and that and we work with those different dynamics. The challenge to me as a chief operating officer is to work with Russ and other staff, club directors, for instance, in those communities where we provide these services, and by getting the support of the local community in whatever channels, whatever capacities that community has. So,
and you have businesses that in the community that contribute, and individuals as well. Is that right?
Yeah.
So anyone can contribute, and whether it's time, talent, or treasure.
Right.
Those are the three different ways people could give back as a thank you for all you're doing there.
Yeah, because again, with a nonprofit organization, for the fees that we charge, we're always looking for those financial supports, because we still even though we're a nonprofit organization, we're still a business.
Right.
We have payroll, we have facilities to maintain, we have benefits to provide.
To keep all these programs going, right? It takes money.
Yeah, exactly.
It takes time and effort.
Exactly. And as you know, fluid mechanics have been supported by using the swimming pool for many years. That's a source of revenue for us as well. And I'd like to thank you for that, being with us for so many years.
It's been our pleasure. And you guys have been so kind, especially with this pandemic that's come in and things like that, and made sure we had space. And it's just, it's always been there. And you're a group that we rely on and respect and appreciate. And we love your organization. And
thank you, John.
Specifically, also, we love you too, Sal. Really.
I appreciate that very much.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for joining us. And we appreciate your time and look forward to seeing you soon.
Thank you. And be well.
All right. You too.
Happy holidays.
You too. Thanks.
Bye-bye.